This episode was made possible by the fine folks at
Washington State's Caviar Gold.
Hi Rangers, and welcome to another episode of My Name Is BIGFOOT. And you are, sir?
I am Robert Fowler.
What is the name of your Rush cover band?
We are called The Rush Experience. Excuse me while I get this out.
Now, I know a little bit about your history. You've been in the music industry for a little over 20 years, is that correct?
That's about right. Probably the mid-'80s is about when I got serious and decided to start playing professionally. Begged my dad for one, and what he did was he put rocks in all the little closets in the house, told me that I was getting a rock. So I got the rock with a tag and followed it all the way around. There was this nice, pretty Sears guitar. I didn't really get into my chosen genre, rock, until later on, really, when I started hearing, I think it was a band in junior high that was, and they were playing an old Foghat song.
Okay.
And I had never heard the Foghat song.
Oh.
But what I really know is I wanted to do that. So, 7, 8 years old, I'm that kid with the little cardboard cutout guitar, standing in front of the mirror wanting to be, John Lennon or Paul McCartney or whoever it was. I think the first song I ever remembered was 8 Days a Week by the Beatles. The first single I ever owned was Ricky Don't Lose That Number. So you can see where my pop came from. Later on, I got immersed into late 70s, 80s hard rock metal, so on and so forth. I played in cover bands for, probably 18 some odd years, 19 some odd years. I continue to play in projects I want to play in. I have a tribute to Rush. I found Rush in 75 when we moved up here, because we moved from there to here in 75, so I'm almost a native. Not quite,
I accept you.
Okay.
What was the first piece, the first song that was like, I must rip this song apart and understand all of its notes and melodies and chords? Like
Kid Charlemagne.
Okay.
Kid Charlemagne. Number one, there were chords in it that I knew but didn't know why. The bands that were playing at that time out in those areas when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, I got to see the guys who were now in their 60s, and I'm good friends with a lot of those people because I watched those guys, in high school on stage going, and they were 5 years, 6 years older than we were. I want to do that. Yeah. I want to do that. Oh, that's fun. And it's still fun to this day to sit behind the guitar rig, and turn it up to stage level and hit that adrenaline of that sound pressure wave and you being in control of this instrument. I've always been a guitar player. I've never thought of band per se, back in the days of Joni Mitchell's and so on and so forth and that kind of music. I was the kid that would read the album covers and find that Larry Carlton played on this record, but he also played on this record, and he also played on this record. And then I would sit down and with all those records and try to figure out, what is that? What is that?
Because the power of jam sessions, you pull shit out of places that are, oh, no, hey, that's good. Keep going. And then you just feed off of that. So
I have been looking, there's also the alternate idea that it is more jazz rock based with almost the element of Fish in it, where it allows you to go, like Tedeschi does.
Okay. With
those three. I'm also a huge fan of people like John Scofield, where it is almost jazz. Okay. It's still rock. I mean, come on, it's a 335 through a rap pedal.
Dude, it's got a beat.
It's got something, it's got an edge to it. It's always pushing it all around a little bit. I mean, rock and roll is danger. You're always pushing the envelope. When you get to a point where you're not pushing the envelope anymore, it just becomes Velveeta.
I've never heard that before. I like that though. What are you working on now? What
I'm working on right now is I have 3 songs in the works. One for a good friend of mine, Ray Stebbins. His O-Dark 30 music that he has written over the years is some really beautiful stuff, and I've been trying to get him in the studio to recreate these things. And they really are turning out nice. He just did one that is all about the past trauma that we've had through this nation. And he is that kind of writer, a storyteller kind of writer. And it's coming out beautifully. I'm familiar with the genre. I'm familiar with how to bring those sounds without necessarily clouding his work with my image. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, as a producer, I have to think more about that. But it gives me an opportunity to work with him, and like I have with other singers too over the years, co-writing albums. is it gives me a chance to produce them and get the most out of them in a concise way. And I have specific ideas about mixing and what I like to hear, just as any other engineer would. I mean, I'm an in-the-box guy, so we've always been looked down by the guys with big consoles, and I just couldn't afford a $150,000 console. I'm sorry, but yeah, the technology is available now that we could do that. So, you know, Ray comes in, he does his thing, and he plays a song for me, and we lay it down, and we replace some things, and we do this, and we do this. And I know the session that he came over was 7 hours. He didn't leave until I finished the background, all the background guitars and the guitar solo. I was like, but there's the other really cool thing about the recording side of it, is that you're always creating.
Yeah.
You're always, I don't look at practice anymore as, okay, I'm going to sit down and play. I have the muscle memory. And I have the confidence to know that when I pick it up and play it, that my hands will remember where to go. You know, from that point in time, you're just thinking about, well, what sounds good with this? Okay, so we're doing this thing. What would Mike do? And I'd listen to a little bit of it and go, yeah, I get that. You know, and pick up a guitar and screw with it for a few minutes, screw with it for a few minutes. Okay, that works. There's all the patterns relative.
Yeah.
You know, from a technical standpoint of view, what I do is work the circle of fifths the entire time. I learned about modes, and I learned about positions within the circle of fifths,
right.
Thinking about it in a natural way of numbering them as 1 through 7. And then you can 1 through 7, depending on where you are, it's your major or minor relative. It makes it really easy to navigate without having to worry about it. And once you know the patterns for all those, then you can mid-flight change patterns by just changing your motion up or down, where Carlton did that by stack thirds. Play through 5 chords, take the 3-note arpeggios on each 5 chords, and play that as the run. You know, I mean, that's the kind of technical thing that I'm chasing.
But the dedication to that's insane, though. I mean, like,
yes.
How do you stay so dedicated? How do you not give up?
Why would I give up?
Thank you. No.
No, man, it's in me. I mean, it's in me.
Like
it's in me to create.
Some people, they have a limit to
regardless,
like how far they want to go, and like, you know what, this is too much hassle.
I think what happens is sometimes they chase it for the wrong reason. You always have your steady pulse. I write in 16th notes because 16th notes allows me to hop, allows me subdivision of time, and subdivision of time. Music is nothing but melody and rhythm. If you do have melody and rhythm, it's only at one level. You have to then be able to create meter within that for the melody to sit in. It has to be a memorable meter and a memorable melody. It can't just be 64th notes thrown out just for no reason. The best ideas, I think, in the world are the simplest ideas. I mean, I'm a lover of really complicated music. I have been the Dream Theater route and that kind of thing. I got tired of it because John is an incredible guitar player. I will never play like that, nor do I really have a desire to play like that. But
you appreciate
it. I appreciate it, but what it does is after about 3 minutes, it'll bore you.
Okay, it's just too much.
Yeah, well, it's really too many, to me, it's too many notes. There's a really funny song written by Steve Morris called Too Many Notes, and it's all one word, right?
Yeah.
And then when you hear it, yes, it's a fiddle reel done on guitar. Oh my God! It's Mark O'Connor was one of the guys in his band back in the day, and that kid was flat picking champion, national junior flat picking champion at 16. And when I heard that stuff, I mean, there's some beautiful guitar players out there I still admire. Doyle Dykes is one of the most fluent fingerstyle chord melody players I've heard in a long time. You know, and there's a certain perfection to what they do. I chase it in the studio. Right now I'm chasing what everybody's chasing for, the right sound. I have a medium-priced Ibanez guitar, which I try to keep as nice as possible and tuned as well as possible. And learning all those cool mic techniques and all that neat stuff to pull out what I hear out of the guitar, and then the texture, the layer, where it goes. Almost all my songs feature some sort of either finger picked and or flat picked. Alex Lifeson from Rush does very much the same thing. What you've got is a very square thing going, but then you will layer a counter melody, which is then chorus delay will help it slap against each other, and you create this wash. And if you do it right, you can still keep the texture of every edge of every individual note and create this bed And after that, you can then very easily texture out of that into straight crunch to bring up dynamics, to bring up emotion, to tug the song one direction or another, depending on the lyrical content. I don't always write lyrical content, but a lot of times I don't write lyrical content. I usually let the guitar speak, because the instrument, the lead guitar for me, is an instrument that I've worked on for many, many, many years to make it the voice that I don't necessarily think I use, singing. I've sang on a lot of my older stuff. Never quite sure if that was the voice. And I tried different singers and different combinations of it. The combination of it that's working right now is myself and 2 other guys. We're just kind of creating some stuff in the studio and seeing where things go.
What gets you into the writing mode?
What gets me in the writing mode?
Like what inspires you? Like what gets you into like it's time to write?
It really does. I will tell you a funny story. I'm out listening to the bells. We have a whole bunch of wind chimes out in front of the house. And I heard a melody, and the bell went bang, 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 and I went bang, 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 bang. I'm working on one right now, and I went home there. I went back inside, because I can go back inside. It's fired. All I have to do is hit record, go. I can pick a tempo and go. I have guitars ready to go. I've got 13 of them on the wall. They're all, like I said, they're tools.
Right. Now that you found Bigfoot, what question do you have for me?
Why would I ask you? So, when you get up in the morning, what do you eat?
Bananas and fruits.
Where do you get the bananas? They're not native.
No. I go to the grocery store.
Okay.
I have to, pick up stuff for the kid and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I feed her yogurt and bananas, and I'm like,
good.
I
So
like
a healthy
bananas.
diet. It's a healthy diet.
Yeah, it's. There's probably a primal urge for that too. I like that. Well, thank you so much for this interview. I appreciate it. So thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right, and thank you so much, Ed. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
So how can we reach out to you?
Reach out to me through Reverb Nation. It's Robert W. Fowler, musician, all one word.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm having my second Bigfoot, Littlefoot.
Are you?
Yeah.
I've got 3 myself.
Late January.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
From one father to another.
Thanks.
I've had 3 beautiful girls. They're now 30, and the twins are 25.
I got like one that's a year and a half, and then this one. So I got a girl Littlefoot, and now I got a boy Littlefoot that's on its way. So.
Well, so which one do you think is going to be the worst?
Huh?
Girls are generally quicker. You think the girl one is going to be?
Oh, she's already taken after me. Luckily, she looks like her mama. So.